Today we're going to go a little bit more tactical. This month in our program, we did a sideline class. And this class, for some reason, whenever we host a sideline class, whether it's in person or virtual, kills everyone. And we were talking about the importance of the sideline, your stamina, and being able to perform at a high intensity level, no matter what, at any point during auditions, right? So sidelines, let's break them down a little bit. Sidelines, depending on the league, whether it's NFL, NBA, or even semi-pros, your sidelines are going to be the routine that you actually do the most often. When I was in the NBA, some years we did 2 routines and we had our sidelines. Then we switched to 1 routine and we did a sideline. So your routine in the NBA is during a quarter break and you perform for 1:10. Normally, 1:10 is your routine. Similar in the NFL. And then you have your sidelines, which are normally in the NBA done during fourth quarter. It also could be when the team is really hot and say there was like a timeout that was set, but it was going to bring the energy down. And they would send us out to do sidelines to keep the energy up and amping up the crowd. Everyone's like clapping, they're excited. Steph Curry just had a 3 and we were down by 3, whatever it is. That is what a sideline is. And so sidelines, at least on my team that I was on, you ran out onto the court. You got collectively on the same page as your teammates. You did 4 8 counts of a routine that was a routine that you had like in your back pocket ready to go, that you had like maybe 5 or 6 of them for the season. And then you perform those 4 8 counts, and then you would do step claps in between for 2 8 counts. You would do that sideline again, step claps for 2 8 counts, and then you would actually switch to another sideline routine. So you do like A and B, okay? That is the structure that we did on the teams that I was on. And then you also add in the elements of moving formations or potentially like moving around the court. So there were different formations. You had 2 lines, you had a perimeter, which you were literally on every single side of the court. And then instead of step clapping between your sideline, you would actually you would step clap along the length or width of the court. Okay. So you're moving, you're high energy, you're going. And TV timeouts, I think they're like 3 minutes when they are nationally televised. So you're going for a lot longer of a time than you would for that 1:10 routine that you do during quarter break. Okay. So I want to just set the stage for sidelines for you. Okay. And so we did sidelines this past month in our program, and at the end of class, we always do like our aha moments or our takeaways so we can reflect on class and so we can bring something new forward into our brain and into our practice. And every time we do this, we do a sideline class, everyone is so shocked at their lack of stamina. You are literally, and this is practicing in our house or in a studio, you are just doing step claps and just doing the 4 8 counts, and we're just doing it twice through, okay? Not on top of everything else that you would have to be doing on the field or court when you're actually on a team. And everyone is so surprised on their stamina or lack thereof. The reason why we incorporate sidelines into our program and into the classes we offer is because it is something that can't be emulated truly, or like even just performing full out for a 1:10 routine. You can't replicate that in your training. You can a little bit, but, and I'm going to go over that in a second, but you truly can't replicate this high intensity 3-minute or 1-minute experience unless you're actually doing it. And so that is truly why we offer these sideline classes, so you can get that experience, because the dance piece that you train so often for is just a little tiny piece of the puzzle that comes with actually being on a team, performing during game day, and having that energy to withstand an entire game day, truly. And I want you to also think about your stamina and your ability to execute. So how to emulate that outside of taking a sideline class with us is your cardio, right? And instead of thinking about, okay, let me run or let me do a really long time on the Stairmaster or whatever it is, I want you to think of how can I do these little baby intervals, like little sprints. So what I used to do when I was training for auditions every year is I would get on the treadmill for 5 minutes, or I'd run outside and I'd sprint for 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. And if I had the luxury of being on a treadmill, I would actually like change the incline as much as I could throughout those 5 minutes to really push myself. Okay. So I would run at 8 speed for 30 seconds and then walk for 30 seconds or like a light jog. And then I would increase the treadmill incline 0.5 and I would do the same thing. And I only want you to do this for 5 to 10 minutes max because I want you to just have those short bursts of intensity versus let me do a HIIT workout for 45 minutes. Let me do a HIIT workout for 20 minutes. You don't have the luxury of that length of time. You really want to just have these short little 3-minute practices or 5-minute practices at the end of your strength training workout or on a rest day, right? You can start incorporating those to build that stamina that will support you with not only sidelines, but routines and ultimately auditions. Because if you think about auditions, you are going to be in the front of the judges at the end of the day, right? Or the end of the round after you've been putting effort and energy and execution this whole time through. And if you can't perform the routine as good as you did it the first time, the last time, then you're doing yourself a disservice because that is when the judges are actually looking at you, right? So making sure that you have the stamina to withstand auditions, no matter how long the round is, no matter how long you're practicing for, you are able to execute at 150% full out energy when you're in front of the judges versus being able to execute that up until, an hour in, and then the gas is run out of your tank. So being able to practice building your stamina is one of the best things that you can do for yourself, not only for auditions, but for yourself when you make it onto a team. And I also mentioned strength training, right? To be able to get low, to be able to perform with power, to be able to have strong arms, you need to strength train, okay? Lifting heavy weights is not going to make you bulky, all right? So figuring out a strength training routine that works for you, 3 times a week, 2 times a week, start incorporating heavy weights when you can and doing it safely will have such a huge impact on your ability to perform and the power that you have behind your dancing. It will also help you with like your pro fit look and having that aesthetic that is ultimately required for being on a pro dance team. And so you're killing 2 birds with 1 stone on that one, is that you have the ability to have strength in your movements and then also layering in the high intensity interval training, but just those little short bursts within your workout regimen. And like I was saying earlier, is that these sidelines are truly just the tip of the iceberg. We were talking about this in our program. Is you have formation changes, you're getting on the same page as your teammates, and then say when the music stops, you all have to stop at the same time. And so each team has a method and a routine of getting you all on the same page to actually stop at the same time. So what we used to do was, if it was 1 through 5, you finished out that 8 count and you rallied and then you waved and you ran off. If it was 6 through 8, you did the whole next 8 count and then you rallied, you waved, you ran off. There are so many pieces like that you don't even know about, which you shouldn't because you're not on the team right now. But there's so many things that you are going to have to think about on game day, at appearances, at practice, that this is why judges are truly looking for the quote unquote full package when it comes to auditions and making it onto a team, because there's such an enormous amount of other things that you have to learn and be able to grasp in such a short amount of time, that being able to dance, have technique, and perform like an entertainer are truly the fundamentals that are going to get you onto the team, because there are so many other things that you need to learn and, again, be able to just like execute in a quick manner. And so I hope that this is helpful for you to learn more about like behind the scenes of what it actually takes to make it onto a team and what is expected of you when you're on a team. And if this was helpful for you, I would love to invite you to apply for our training program. You can DM me at the Cultivate code, just the word apply, or I left the link in the show notes below. And I would love to learn more about you and how we can support you on this journey.